Plant these 15 perennials and never touch soil again. Let's get into it. Let's start with perennial number 1, daylilies. These are about as close to indestructible as any flowering plant can get. Once established, they shrug off drought, poor soil, and neglect. You'll have to divide them every few years if you want more. Not that you have to. Number 2, hostas. If your yard has shade, which if you're anywhere in the eastern half of the country, it probably does, hostas fill it in beautifully and spread on their own year after year. Number 3, coneflowers or echinacea. These reseed themselves, attract pollinators without any single effort from you, and tolerate the kind of dry, neglected soil that would kill most flowering plants. Now here's where it gets interesting, because perennial number 4 is one almost nobody thinks to plant as a set-it-and-forget-it crop: ginger. Most people assume ginger is some delicate tropical plant you have to baby. It isn't. You take a piece of rhizome, that's the knobby root-like stem you'd buy at a grocery store, and you bury it just half an inch under loose, rich soil in a wide, shallow container. Water it in gently, and that's it. No daily maintenance, no babysitting. There's one placement mistake that kills more homegrown ginger than anything else, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it is before this video's over. Ginger wants warmth and humidity, so if you're in a colder part of the country, you start it indoors in spring and only move it outside once it's sprouted. From there, the plant does the heavy lifting. If your soil ever gets too dry, the leaf tips brown. That's your only signal to mulch or water slightly more. If it yellows, you give it a little organic fertilizer. That's the entire troubleshooting list. 2 symptoms, 2 fixes. And the payoff compounds. Leave it in the ground where winters are mild, and it keeps multiplying on its own, rhizome after rhizome, harvest after harvest, the same planting producing food for years without you ever starting over. Number 5, peonies. Slow to establish, but once they're in, some peony plants in this country are still blooming after 50, 60, even 100 years. You are planting something your grandchildren might photograph. Now here's the part most gardening channels skip. There's a piece on Mount Lebanon magazine's gardening column written by a home gardener about planting a dogwood tree right outside her front door, a spot with loose soil that didn't hold water in a climate zone she hadn't fully accounted for. The tree struggled the entire time it sat there. Her fix wasn't fertilizer or extra attention. She just moved it to a spot near her backyard pond, in the shade it actually wanted, and that was it. That's the real story behind almost every failed low-maintenance garden. It's never the plant's fault. It's a placement mistake made once at the very beginning. So let's fix that, because here are perennials 6 through 10, and I'm going to tell you exactly where each one needs to go the first time. Number 6, black-eyed Susans. Full sun, average soil, and they will spread into a drift that looks intentional even when you did nothing to plant it. Number 7, Russian sage. This plant actually performs better in bad soil. Rich, fertile dirt makes it floppy. Poor, dry soil makes it thrive. Number 8, sedum, especially the taller varieties. Drought is not a threat to sedum. It's basically the plant's preferred condition. Number 9, hydrangeas, especially panicle hydrangeas, which tolerate more sun and neglect than the finicky mophead types everyone tries and kills first. Number 10, yarrow. This one spreads almost aggressively once established, chokes out weeds on its own, and needs nothing from you beyond an occasional trim if it gets too wide. Now back to that ginger placement mistake I promised you. Here it is. People plant ginger in a deep, narrow pot the way you'd plant a potato. Wrong move. Ginger's rhizome grows horizontally, not down. A deep pot wastes soil the roots will never use, and it holds excess water at the bottom, which rots the rhizome before it ever sprouts. Wide and shallow. That's the one rule. Get that right once, and the plant handles the rest of its life cycle for years. Let's close out the list. Number 11, lavender. Full sun, sharp drainage, and it will outsurvive nearly everything else in your yard, including you forgetting about it for weeks at a time. Number 12, catmint. Nearly identical toughness to lavender, but tolerant of more soil types, and it blooms longer. Number 13, asters, your fall color when everything else has already given up for the season. Number 14, ornamental grasses, feather reed grass or switchgrass. Cut them back once a year in late winter. That's the entire maintenance schedule. And number 15, irises. Like the hostas and peonies in that inherited garden I told you about earlier, irises are one of the plants most likely to survive years of total neglect and still put on a show every spring. So here's what I would do if I were starting today. Pick 3 from this list, one for sun, one for shade, and one that tolerates the worst soil you've got, and put them in the ground this season. And next spring, when it comes back on its own, bigger than you left it.